Alrighty guys, if you've made it to this video, you're in for a treat because this is where things get really fun, okay? And it's still really easy. So if you know how to do 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication, then you also know how to do 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication with decimals, okay? So it's the same as if you were doing 2-digit by 1-digit or 3-digit by 1-digit. All we do as the last step is we count how many numbers are after the decimal place. Okay, so just a quick review. Let's do it as is, no decimals first, okay? Excuse me. All right, so we know that we're going to do 5 times or 6 times 5, right? We're talking mums, right? Both kids are going to ask mom, please, mom, can I borrow $15? So 5 asks mom first, which is 5 times 6, and that gives me 30. I'm going to add that 3 up top. And then 4 asks mom, please, mom. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 3 is 27. Okay. So mom says no both times. So these kids are mad and they're like, forget you, mom. Whatever. We're going to go ask dad. Mom, you're such a 0. How rude, hey? And we put that 0 down below. Okay, so now I'm dealing with dad here. And both kids are going to ask dad. And we always start in the ones place. So 5 is going to ask dad first. Please, dad, can I borrow $5? So 5 times 3 is 15. I'm going to put my 1 up in the next column beside the 5. And then we've got 4. Dad says no, so 4 is like, Dad, please, can we borrow $5? 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. There we go. So now I'm going to add those guys together. That would be 0, 12, and then 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6, and a 1. Okay, so with no decimals, we end up with 1,620. And like I said before, if you know how to do that, then you can do all of these other questions super easy, okay? So I'm not going to redo the multiplication because you know how to do the multiplication, right? It would be the exact same multiplication as if, for example, this decimal did not exist. If you just took out the decimal, you would just do the multiplication just like how we did over here. And you would do everything the same until you got your answer. Let's put that decimal place back in. So all of that would be the same. And then when you get your answer, when you're at that 1,620, that's where you're going to go and you're going to count how many decimals there are behind how many digits are behind a decimal. So we can see that in this question, we have the decimal right there. We have 1 decimal, and behind that decimal, there's 1 digit. So I need to mimic that on my answer, right? So my decimal on the answer technically is right there. So I'm going to slide my decimal spot over 1 place. So I have the same number of digits after the decimal in my answer as I do in my question. Okay? So 4.5 times 36 would be 162. Now, let's go to the next one. Let's go to this guy. All of the multiplication would be the same, right? We're going to pretend like the decimal doesn't exist at first. So we're going to pretend, really, that we're just doing 45 times 36 until we get to the answer, right? So let's get our answer down again. So the same thing as we're going to look at our question, and in this case, the decimal is in a different spot, but it doesn't really matter. We're just going to count how many digits are after a decimal. So I have 1 digit after a decimal. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to slide my decimal over 1 spot so that I have the same number of digits after the decimal in my answer as I do in my question. Okay, so 1 digit after the decimal in my question means I have 1 digit after the decimal in my answer. So as it turns out, these two have the same answer, which is pretty cool. Okay, so what if over here I have 2 decimals? So how does that work? Okay, let's get it set up. We're going to do all the multiplication as if those decimals didn't exist. 45 times 36, right? We're going to do it the same way that we did over here. And then we'll go back and we'll count our decimals. All right. So in this case, we see that I have 2 decimals, so I have to count all of the digits. That means I have 2 digits that come after decimals, okay? Even though they're both in different numbers, there's still 2 digits that come after decimals here, okay? So that means I need to move my decimal 2 places over. All right, so just to check, I have 2 digits that come after decimals in my question, which means I need to have 2 digits that come after the decimal in my answer. All right, so that's all you have to do when you're multiplying with decimals, is just you count the number of digits that come after the decimal in the question, and you make sure that you have the same number of digits in the answer. And that's it. Okay, have fun with this one.